This week on Brew Pig, we almost crash. We lift the boat. We find out Brew Pig has quite the hairy bum. Brew Pig was a sunken fishing trawler that was stripped out and ready for the scrapyard. She's just completed a 10-year rebuild that's brought her back to life. With the help of volunteers and funded by our Patreons, community and subscribers, she'll be crewed by passionate people from around the world. If you'd like to be involved and support the project, please consider joining us on Patreon or subscribe to the channel. There's a link in the description below. It's the day before we pull out of our new pull-out date, timeline, etc. after the debacle that was last week. In order to speed things up on the yard and spend less time out of the water, I've got to do a little bit of pre-work. So I'm going to change a few seacocks in the boat. So I'm making a couple of new fittings. So I've got to take this weld-on thread, weld it onto a Schedule 40 90, stainless 90, and then that's going to become a new drain for our sink and shower. That combined drains goes out into the same thing. Oh, and the washing machine, they'll go out the same one. So we're going to make a new one of those. We're going to move it so that it's in a better position should anything bad happen. At the moment it's located under the bed downstairs. It's a real pain in the neck to get to. We're going to locate it above the bed so we can easily dive across the bed and turn it off if we ever need to. But to do that, we need to weld these together. Also had a complaint on one of our previous episodes about how the channel's turning into too much of an electrical channel, fixing things that are electrical, and I'm really sorry, but sometimes on modern boats you have electrics. But I do hear that. They also said that I was sometimes a bit too sarcastic and snarky, so completely take that feedback on board. Today we'll be powering our, normally it's an electrical welder, but today we're powering it with hemp and kerosene in the traditional manner. If the cat's restless, we put a t-shirt coiled up in the bottom of this tray on the back of the bigger scooter, and that solves the problem. These fittings are 316 stainless, so I'm using a 316 stainless filler wire. Makes it nice and easy to join it up and get a really good weld. This is a little 25mm 90. I need to weld a little extension piece like that onto one end and then a thread onto the other, mainly so I can bring the 90 out from the hull so that we can screw a ball valve on easy in the future, because this is way too tight to the hull to try and get anything on. Ow! Didn't have an earth on. You can tell when you don't have an earth on and you're touching a piece of metal that you're about to weld, because it gives you this little buzzer. The cool thing about the little buzzer on this, the feature, is the higher the amperage, the louder the buzzer. Well, the louder the squeal, I suppose. That end welds into the hull. This end welds onto the ball valve. We've got a new 1-inch stainless ball valve. So yeah, that's going to be lovely. This is Schedule 40, so you can get Schedule 10, Schedule 40 and Schedule 80. Basically 10 is thinnest, 80 is thickest. And this is Schedule 40, so you can see it's quite thick. I don't know what the measurement is. I would say that's probably 5mm, but it's pretty close to what the thickness of the hull is. That's why I use Schedule 40 whenever I'm doing skin fittings or hull fitting. The last one that I welded is still a bit too hot to touch, but I just gave this one, this is the first one, a clean up, and the weld's come up pretty good. So again, it's not the most uniform weld. I probably could have done better if I had the rotator on, but that is more than enough for what we need. There's the second one after a bit of time, cleaned up. That'll work lovely. While I got the welder out, we have this piece of 32mm 1-inch nominal bore, so 1-inch ID, 32mm on the outside, stainless. I think this is Schedule 40. This is a piece of pipe that we use to undo our anchor winch. It means that we get a really good bite on the brake on that anchor winch. But what I want to do is clean the ends up. So I found these nice little sort of rounded ends. I'm going to weld those on and make a proper actual stainless thing that will stay up on the bow of the boat. One, There we go. 2 bell ends on the end of a pole. Fairly sure that's the technical term. Welcome back to Project Brew Pig. It's incredibly early in the morning. It's almost 5 AM. It's the day of the lift. So the reason we're up this early, we're using low tide and low wind to basically zoom out of the berth. We're going to go and just grab one of the moorings and hang on that for a couple of hours. And then we'll go back to the haul out basin at 7:30, something like that. So it's just to try and make it easy getting out of this berth, because this berth sucks to get in and out of. So yeah, that's the plan. Just done a check through here. Brunette's on. I've turned the nav screen off. I don't need that light. I've got the cameras running. I do need them to dock. Not that we're docking straight away. We're going to the mooring. Air conditioner is on, cooling down the room. Right, throttle is in position down here, ready to start. Let's go. Let's get fired up. Same procedure as always. Coolant, steering hydraulics, main engine oil. Lovely. Look at that. Prop shaft. 2 squirts, good luck. Gearbox. Plenty. Electrons. Right. Fire in the hole. Okay, everything up here is good. I'm ready to go whenever you want. It's good. I've got you on the phone nice and clear. Great. Yeah, loud and clear. Yep, just take your time. Okay. Yep. Lovely. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I'm just going to give it a little puff forward to straighten that up. I'm just going to start steaming out because we're going sideways. The lift is a 45-ton capable lift, and when we're absolutely bone dry, we think we are about 43 ton. So at the moment I think we've got about a ton of water in the tank, so we just need to empty that out to get the boat as light as we can. There's still possibly 2 ton of diesel in the back of the boat. The back's actually the light end of the boat, so hopefully that's not a problem. But yeah, we just need to get the weight out of the front. The water tanks are up the front, and therefore we'll dump that water. The area we need to pull out is with this travel lift just here, but if you look to the left, you've got a set of train tracks coming down into the water with some piles at the end, and on the right hand side you've got that pontoon with boats on it. So the plan is to move the boats along to the end of the wharf so that we can get into that, what seems like a big space looking at it from up here. It's actually quite narrow when you're in the boat. And when you factor in Brupeg doesn't have a bow thruster, therefore making steering in reverse practically impossible, you have to allow for wind because wind will push the bow around in ways that you don't want it to do normally. And reversing. So after waiting for the yard to open, we dropped the mooring, we started heading over for lift out. The plan was to spin the boat around in front of the jetty so that we've got plenty of room to line ourselves up and start our manoeuvring. However, that was when we discovered the Brupeg didn't really want to go straight. Because of all the growth, the prop walk was crazy.
She's got a lot of prop walk for it for some reason.
This is a situation where a bow thruster would be invaluable. It would give us steering in reverse. Now, normally with a clean bottom and a clean propeller, we can actually steer Brupeg straight. We don't have a lot of steering left or right, but we can steer straight in reverse. And that was what I was hoping that we could do today. However, because of the amount of growth that was on the propeller, we think that that might have had something to do with just the fact that it did not want to go straight. There was a little bit of wind. It wasn't that strong, maybe, I don't know, 6 to 10 knots, something like that, but it was just enough that kept pushing the bow around because we couldn't get much thrust out of the propeller at this stage.
Yeah, I'm getting too close to that boat. I'm just gonna go out.
So this is the first aborted attempt. We decided, nah, we're getting too close to the boats on the side, so we decided to head back out into the basin, try and line the boat back up again. The issue I'm having is it's very tight between the pile at the end of the train tracks and the moored boats on the end of the jetty. The wind is pushing the bow across towards the jetty, so I keep manoeuvring the boat to try and push it across to the right hand side or the starboard side. On the day that we moved Brupeg, the yard guys shifted these boats to the very far end of the wharf to give us the most amount of space possible.
I think that's a better line.
Yeah, it's good. But you're going to pull it down the bottom.
It's okay, get straight with forward thrust.
If you look closely, you can see the bow drifting off to the left hand side or the port side, and you start to have less and less control as the boat does this.
We're clear of those piles by the rails, aren't we?
And now as we can see just how little manoeuvring room I've got. I can only really turn the boat to the right hand side by putting it in forward, rudder hard over to starboard and give it a forward puff, but by doing that the boat goes further forward. So I was starting to reverse down the gap at this point here, and that's when I realised that we're essentially just going to have to let the wind drift us down sideways, and then when we're clear of all the boats I was able to push Brupeg further forward to tie up and use the wharf as a means to pull the back end of the boat around.
I think we're okay.
You can see just how sideways the boat got in terms of orientation towards that jetty. So we need to tie up just in front of this white powerboat in front of us. And from the wheelhouse it's really difficult to tell how much clearance we have between Brupeg and the white power cat. We also have to make sure that we've got clearance on the piles behind us. Jess is able to organise a line going from the front of Brupeg across to the jetty so that we can arrest the movement on the bow and let the stern drift in line with the jetty.
Have they got it? Yeah, we're going to swing around like that. Here we go.
So using a bit of forward and reverse thrust, I'm able to bring the stern around a little, but also push the bow closer to the jetty.
I think I am. It'll take a while, the boat will just come in though.
Yeah, maybe, right? These guys at Port City Fabrications we were lifting out today were amazing and made it look simple. Little did we know this was going to turn out to be one of the best weeks we've ever had working on Brupeg out on the hard, but more of that next episode.
This was our first chance to get a really close look at how bad the growth on Brupeg was.
It could be worse.
We were looking at this nervously because we had to sand this boat, and that looked pretty feral so far. But then they fired up their beast of a water blaster, and what a water blaster it was. Ooh, this thing did an incredible job. The guys worked really hard. They went a wee bit slower than they normally would on it, and what this meant was it saved us probably 2 or 3 days of solid sanding. It was an incredible job they did on it.
Thanks guys.
The blasting took a few hours, so while we had some spare time, we couldn't do much on Brupeg, Jess went and retrieved our dinghy Mishka. We didn't know it at the time, but this exhaust is going to become a problem. A problem a grinder would solve. And it was about now we thought, hey, that flag's also going to be a problem. That can be solved with another grinding opportunity.
So this is Brupeg's home for the next week and our last haul out before leaving Australia. We've got to get moving for our training project with the Australian Navy Cadets up the East Coast. We are up against a weather window. Heavy rains are forecast 6-7 days from now. We need good humidity and no rain to paint, and we can't be out too long. We've got to stick to our budget and pace ourselves. She's a big boat, so we've got some long days ahead. Thanks for the uplifting experience, guys.
See what you did there.